Protests continue overnight in Los Angeles in response to ICE raids, and President Trump orders more troops to the city. We'll look at the mission of the Marines now headed to LA and the concerns from authorities already there. In just hours, Missouri lawmakers will meet again to possibly decide the fate of the Chiefs and Royals. We're closely watching movement in Jefferson City as the special session continues.
The Yankees coming to Kauffman Stadium tonight, but will the place be packed for Jack? Maybe.
KMBC 9 News on KCWE starts now.
Oh, what a night it's going to be out at Kauffman. Thanks for starting your morning with us here on First News on KCWE. I am Jamie Weiss. Nick Bender as we take a live look across Kansas City. Gorgeous start to this Tuesday.
It is. A little hazy, Jamie. That smoke from wildfires in Canada that's made its way down across the Midwest this morning. That smoke's thousands of feet above the ground, but it does make for a hazy sunrise and sunset. 62 degrees right now. It's a comfortable morning with dew point values in the mid-50s. The higher that number, the higher the dew point, the more uncomfortable, the more humid it feels. When it gets into the 60s, at least I start to notice it. When it's above 70, which it might do tomorrow, it starts to feel pretty gross. 12-hour forecast for today in Kansas City, comfortable but hotter than yesterday with more sunshine. Temperatures reaching into the mid to upper 80s with just a light south breeze, so not much of a breeze to cool things off. And it'll be even hotter tomorrow, perhaps the first 90-degree day of the year in Kansas City. 91 in Leavenworth, 94 in Atchison, 90 in Odessa, Waverly, Oak Grove down to Warrensburg. You can add about 5 degrees onto those temperatures to account for that increased humidity or those higher dew points. So it's going to start getting hot and humid as we head into the rest of June. I think we're beginning that long stretch of summer weather. Isolated showers, a couple of showers, 2 thunderstorms are possible on Thursday and Friday at this time. Not expecting any washout days or impact days. Let's go to News Chopper 9's Johnny Rollins.
All right, Nick, thanks so much. Taking a look at your first alert traffic problems here on 435 northbound Kansas Avenue, Kansas side, of course, and that's going to be through the construction, replacing these bridges here, at least the decks on the bridges, and it's been kind of switching lanes here and there. They've already gotten the southbound, well, I should say the left lanes done, both directions, and this coming towards us will be the northbound I-435 run just before you get to Kansas Avenue. And so it looks like a couple of vehicles there on the other side of the cones. It's the only thing we can come up with as far as this wreck is concerned, although they don't look like emergency vehicles. And at this point, wondering how they got across on the other side of the cones. So if that's all they had to do, maybe it was a fender bender, not a big deal. Certainly not a big deal as far as any major delay right now. Not seeing that at all. Johnny Rollins, News Chopper 9, back to you in the studio.
Thank you, Johnny. We do want to go ahead and check in on drive times because we are noticing some slowdowns around the metro. Right now, looking at a 5 to 10 minute drive time delay on I-35 southbound. That's going to be from the merge into downtown Kansas City, as well as delays along I-70 westbound from Nolan Road into downtown Kansas City. 435 westbound is wide open this morning. We'll let you know if any problem spots pop up. Time right now is 8:03, and protests brought on by ICE raids continue in Los Angeles this morning. Cameras spotted a few clashes between protesters and National Guard troops last night. Law enforcement officers threw flashbangs, and some protesters even threw objects. President Trump ordered 2,000 more National Guard members and 700 Marines to LA. California Governor Gavin Newsom doesn't want the extra military presence, and the Los Angeles Chief of Police says it's going to create some logistical challenges. So the controversy grows over the use of the military in Los Angeles as these protests continue. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth confirmed that the deployment is happening ahead of his testimony this morning in D.C. That's where our Amy Lou joins us. And Amy, what's the mission of these forces in Los Angeles?
President Trump says that this show of force is in order to protect federal property, and he's dismissing any concerns that they'll escalate tensions even further.
Thank goodness we sent out some wonderful National Guard. They've really helped, and a lot of problems that we're having out there.
Video from protests in California show demonstrators coming face to face with more than 1,000 National Guard members already on the ground. LA's police chief says that the Marines' arrival could cause even more problems if it's not coordinated with local agencies. So far, Trump has not invoked the Insurrection Act, which would allow the military forces to perform law enforcement duties. All of this happening against the wishes of local and state officials in California.
It makes me feel like our city is actually a test case for what happens when the federal government moves in and takes the authority away from the state or away from local government.
The Pentagon is reportedly working on a memo with rules guiding the Marines' mission, including whether or not they can detain people and then turn them over to police if they assault or harm troops. On Capitol Hill, I'm Amy Lowe.
California's Attorney General sued the Trump administration on Monday, trying to bring the National Guard back under Governor Gavin Newsom's control. Kansas City, Missouri Mayor Quinton Lucas weighed in, calling LA Mayor Karen Bass a strong leader, saying she and local authorities were managing until, quote, national figures ignited a firestorm, misusing the National Guard and the bully pulpit of the presidency to exacerbate divides. We're going to continue to follow the latest out of California. You can find updates on air and online at KMBC.com, as well as in our free KMBC 9 News app. It is 8:05 and Missouri special session continues today. House lawmakers are considering several bills passed by the Senate last week. Leaders of both parties say they expect to take up all of those bills and pass them without any changes. That includes the sports stadium funding bill. If they make any changes, the bill would go back to the Senate, where it could stall.
There's a lot of things in the bills that are very important to different corners of the state, whether it's Kansas City or St. Louis or other parts of the state. So we want to make sure we take those up in an expeditious manner, get those done, and then get out of town.
Any changes to the bill on the House side will send the bills back over to the Senate. And right now, I'm not certain that I think that they'll die in the Senate. I don't know that the Senate will come back to take them up. So I think we got to keep everything as is.
Property tax relief tacked onto the stadium funding bill could be a bump in the road, especially since a number of counties were left off. House Speaker John Patterson says he will ask the governor to call another special session in September to address that. The House will gavel in for the day at 10 this morning, and our Matt Evans is going to be in Jeff City today. You can look for updates on air and online at KMBC.com. Tonight, we are going to see the home field debut for Royals rookie Jack Caglione, last year's first-round draft pick. KMBC 9's Martin Augustine is live for us this morning at Kauffman Stadium. And Martin, we've all been waiting for this, Jack's first experience at the K, but it comes against the New York Yankees.
Well, what a great mix of things to add some excitement to a Tuesday night ball game. Jack Caglione, perhaps the most anticipated call-up for the Kansas City Royals in 15 years. Now, he's had 6 games with the big club, all of them on the road, so he's had a chance to knock out some of those butterflies. The best of the bunch Sunday with a 4-for-4 performance against the Chicago White Sox. Now, he's only had 1 RBI on his stat line, a little bit of hard luck to go with it. In his 5 games prior to Sunday, he had 9 of what Major League Baseball statistics experts call hard hit balls, and in each case he was out. But a 4-hit day, that'll fix everything right then and there, allowing Jack to take a nice deep breath before playing his first home game here in Kansas City.
I'm super excited to get to Kauffman. Got a bunch of family and friends coming, so I'm excited. I think that sounds weird, but I'm more excited for that than I was for the debut itself.
Now, the last time we saw the Yankees here at Kauffman Stadium wasn't a whole lot of fun. They clinched a playoff series win right in front of us, a tough one to watch, with the Yanks ending last year's wonderful run by the Royals through the regular season and into the second round of the postseason. So now it's time to start something new against the Yankees with these 3 games against the Bombers. Still tickets available tonight if you want to come see the Yankees, the Royals, and Jack Caglione. After this 3-game series of the Yankees, there's 3 more home games with the A's, so plenty of time for Jack to get acclimated to his new home field, maybe even hit that first home run. Reporting live, Martin Augustine, KMBC 9 News.
Thanks, Martin. Well, if you're going to the game tonight, you're going to get to see a special first pitch. Chiefs defensive end George Karlaftis is going to throw out the ceremonial first pitch. So it sounds like tonight's game pretty much has everything. You get to see George Karlaftis. You get to see Caglione make his debut at the K. It is Dollar Dog Night. I mean, Nick, what is there not to love about tonight?
I mean, good weather. I mean, it's sunny. It's going to be a little warm, but it's June, so it's not going to be oppressively hot. A little bit of a breeze at Kauffman Stadium, not much, but at least the humidity will be kept in check today. You're not going to notice it that much until tomorrow. 62 degrees right now, a hazy morning. It'll be hazy through the day, sunny, warm, 85 degrees. Warmer overnight, a low tomorrow of 64 degrees, and that will begin the change, much hotter and more humid for tomorrow afternoon. You know, typical summer heat, but we haven't had that so far this year. We haven't had a 90-degree day yet. Tomorrow could be the first, and it will feel more like 95 with the humidity, so plan on that. Today, tomorrow would be mow days if you want to avoid low rain chances at the end of the week on Thursday and Friday. There's a low chance of a few isolated showers, a couple of thunderstorms, so not washout days or impact days, but it still will remain warm even with the increased cloud cover. Jamie.
getting you prepared for a milestone this week. Tomorrow marks 1 year until the start of the 2026 FIFA Men's World Cup. This is the official song for Kansas City, which is hosting 6 matches. They'll all be at Arrowhead Stadium with the first match on June 16th next year. Union Station is getting ready for the World Cup. Its Facebook page posted these pictures yesterday showing FIFA World Cup 26 Kansas City banners in the archways. This is ahead of a special announcement tomorrow from KC 2026. The 2026 Parade of Hearts happening here in Kansas City is putting out a call for artists this week, and the design is brand new this year. KMBC 9's Rachel Ripp joins us this morning with a special guest to tell us all about the project. Good morning, Rachel.
Hey, good morning, Jamie. Yes, so that call for artists went out less than 24 hours ago, and they're calling 150 artists here in the Kansas City area. Now, I'm joined here by LaVon Kohlauer. She is the chair of the Parade of Hearts. And so, LaVon, tell us a little bit about what you're most excited for with this next set of hearts in 2026.
I'm excited that the world gets to see how great Kansas City is and our region, how great our region is, and the talent, the love. The hearts express so much. They express the creativity, the unity, everything about Kansas City and about our region. So I'm really excited that the world gets to watch Kansas City, our region, the hearts, all of those good things.
Now, I know your husband was one of the first artists of these hearts, so talk about, I guess, any advice you have for artists that are looking to possibly submit for the 2026 year.
Sure. So yes, my husband, as far as I know, he's the only artist who has done a heart and a cow, if we all remember the cow. I'm sure I'm dating myself, but the first year his heart was covered with children's Band-Aids, and it was mending hearts. So just those stories, because remember, your judges are going to look at your designs and look at the story behind the design. So make sure you have an incredible story behind the design of the heart, because that's what the judges are looking for when they pick those designs that are going to go out in our community and represent our region.
Okay, thank you so much. And that call for artists is going to be open for another few months. So that deadline will be August 13th at 5 p.m. And you can find out more information at theparadeofhearts.com. Reporting in Lee Summit, Rachel Ripp, KMBC 9 News.
Thanks, Rachel. Well, experts are warning that the cost of your utilities is likely going to go up this summer, but it's not completely out of your hands. Next, we will share expert tips to keep your cooling costs down.
Your station leading the way, getting you prepared for important events and changes that affect your day. KMBC 9 News.
Welcome back. It is 8:15. We are taking a look at your first alert traffic. Pretty good one going on right now. No major delays anywhere. That's good news. And we don't have any really major accidents causing any problems for sure. Southbound I-35 via I-29-35, the merge up by Parvin Road all the way down past Armour 210. This is the view from 16th Avenue. Crossing the Bond Bridge, you can see in the distance, skyline off to the right into the northeast corner of the loop. The old Sunday afternoon walk in the park. Very evident. Some summer vacations going on here, headed in from the Northland this morning. Johnny Rollins, News Chopper 9, back to you in the studio.
Thank you, Johnny. Time now is 8:16, and Swedish activist Greta Thunberg has been deported from Israel after she tried to get an aid boat into Gaza. Thunberg and other pro-Palestinian activists had their boat seized on Monday. They tried sailing to Gaza to raise awareness of the humanitarian conditions there. Israel has blocked aid from entering the country for 11 weeks now. The Israeli Foreign Ministry said Thunberg was put on a flight to France and would travel to Sweden from there. We now know Elon Musk's net worth took a big hit from his recent fallout with President Donald Trump. According to Bloomberg's Billionaires Index, Musk's net worth was close to $500 billion after Trump was elected to the White House. Well, as of Sunday, it had plunged to $342 billion. Keep in mind, he's still the richest person in the world, but the feud between Musk and Trump blew up last week on Thursday after Musk departed the White House Department of Government Efficiency. On that day alone, Musk's net worth fell $34 billion. It's going to cost you more to cool your home this summer. Experts say as more parts of the country see significant heat waves, energy costs are going up this year. The average electric bill between June and September is projected to reach $784. That's 4% higher than last year, adjusted for inflation. But there are some things you can do to keep your costs down.
One of the best things you can do is insulate your home. Insulate and air seal. You can set it up a few degrees and you'll save, 5 to 10% on your cooling.
Shades can also make a big difference in keeping rooms cool. Experts also say you should avoid using your dryer, dishwasher, or oven in the middle of the day. They all generate heat. Also, only use ceiling fans in rooms you're currently in. General Mills is the buyer for the parent company of La Tiara Taco Shell and Seasoning. A Clay County judge approved the $10 million deal last month. This comes after Gladstone Food Products reported it owed more than $5 million to creditors. A spokesperson for General Mills says the company looks forward to welcoming the well-loved La Tiara brand to the General Mills family of brands. A new ruling means colleges can start to pay their athletes directly, but what does that mean for your favorite teams? The change you likely won't see, according to experts.
Hot and humid weather pattern lies ahead coming up. I'll help you find the times where quick downpour may temporarily bring relief and disrupt your outdoor activities with First Alert Future Scan.
It is 8:21 on your Tuesday morning as we take a live look over Kansas City. You see the spires there of the downtown convention center. Not a cloud in the sky. The big warm up begins today with higher humidity to follow shortly. Nick's getting us ready for the first 90-degree day of the year and when scattered thunderstorms may temporarily disrupt outdoor activities. The landscape of college athletics is changing yet again. A judge appointed a $2.8 billion antitrust lawsuit that will let schools start to pay their athletes directly. Starting next month, they'll be allowed to spend roughly $20.5 million on their athletes. Schools like Kansas, Kansas State, and Missouri could soon use that money. And while the ruling doesn't specify where the money goes, it's likely to heavily go toward football and basketball programs. A company that helps schools and athletes navigate the NIL landscape says fans need to know that money doesn't necessarily mean more wins.
The fact the athletes are getting paid more doesn't make them better, doesn't mean that your school wins every game. And that's where fans are going to have to get used to the fact that, yeah, they're getting paid a lot. They're not winning many games. But that's the competitive nature of college sports and sports in general. It's just a new era for all of us.
Monday, commissioners from the Power 5 conferences called on Congress to codify the settlement. The Kansas City Chiefs are back on the practice field today for the final week of OTAs. We're going to hear from players and coaches later this week. The Chiefs rookies and veterans have been working to get ready to hit the ground running next week during mini camp. And before you know it, Nick, it's going to be time for training camp, like we like to call the hottest time of the year in Kansas City.
And today's going to start that typical stretch of summer heat and humidity.
Wave.
Not extreme, but I mean that's inevitably on the way. I mean, July could be a scorcher this year. There's some indications that the heat's really going to turn on in July. We'll see how that pans out. But let's get acclimated to the summer heat and humidity this week, beginning with today and then tomorrow. Heat and humidity. Maybe the first 90-degree day of the year. Heat index values in the mid-90s. So this is going to be that first go of summer heat and humidity for a long time. There's going to be some cooler days in there, but the next 9 days, a lot of 80s and low 90s. At the end of this week, there is a chance of a few isolated showers and thunderstorms. With that increased cloud cover, that should keep the highs in the low 80s. Not washout days or impact days, but there's a chance of a few showers and storms, mainly during the afternoon and the evenings on Thursday and Friday. 12-hour forecast for today in Kansas City, the hazy sky, smoke in the sky from wildfires in Canada. So a hazy sunrise, a hazy sunset, a light breeze with temperatures reaching into the mid to upper 80s. So fantastic weather for the Royals game this evening at Kauffman Stadium. But it's going to be a little warmer side if you're tailgating. It's out there without much wind and a lot of sunshine. Then tomorrow, not only the warmest day out of the next 9, but could be the warmest day of the year so far. Our first 90-degree day anticipated in Kansas City. It'll be close. 92 in St. Joe, Maryville, 94 in Atchison, 90 in Odessa, Warrensburg, and Sedalia. You can add about 5 degrees onto those temperatures to account for dew point values reaching into the upper 60s to near 70. That's why it's going to start to feel really humid. Dew points today in the low 50s, doesn't feel too bad. Dew points near 70 tomorrow, it's going to feel kind of a little swampy. Thursday, Friday, a few chances of showers and thunderstorms here. Your outside plans this weekend, I think they're in good shape. Slim chance of a shower or storm on Saturday. It'll be warm, highs in the mid 80s, and then next week back to near 90 degrees with a chance of showers and storms on Tuesday and Wednesday. So this will begin our typical stretch of summer heat and humidity. At least over the next 9 days, there are a few chances of showers and thunderstorms, but no impact or alert days or severe risks.
are getting you prepared for a milestone this week. Tomorrow marks 1 year until the start of the 2026 FIFA Men's World Cup. This is the official song for Kansas City, which is hosting 6 matches. They'll all be at Arrowhead Stadium with the first match on June 16th next year. We are watching a special announcement tomorrow from KC 2026. We now know whose hands Kansas City's favorite taco shells will be in. After a sale last month, we learned that General Mills is now going to take over Gladstone Food Company, former makers of the La Tiara taco shell and seasoning. The $10 million deal was approved by a judge last month. It comes after Gladstone reported it owed more than $5 million to creditors. A spokesperson for General Mills says the company looks forward to welcoming the well-loved La Tiara brand into the General Mills family of brands. Nick, perfect timing for Taco Tuesday.
It certainly is. Hey, the weather's going to start to feel a lot warmer and more humid, a lot more like summer today and especially tomorrow. Lots of sunshine right now, 62 degrees, dew point values in the 50s, so it still feels comfortable. Even though the humidity is 80%, that's relative to the temperature. I like to look at the dew point when I'm trying to figure out, is this going to be a gross day? Is this going to be a humid day? Not today, but dew points in the 60s to near 70 tomorrow. It's going to start to feel a lot more humid on Wednesday. Over the 12-hour forecast, sunshine, light breeze, wonderful weather for this evening's ball game there at Kauffman. And temperatures will likely drop down into the upper 70s shortly after sunset. As we look ahead, this looks like summer, and it's going to feel a lot like summer on the 9-day forecast. Beginning with tomorrow, 90 and humid, so maybe feeling more like 95. And I guarantee you walk out tomorrow afternoon and you're going to be like, oh, it's June or July. And there's a chance of a few showers and storms Thursday and Friday. No impact or washout days there. Today we begin the long march into warm and humid conditions. I'm going to get you ready for the first 90-degree day of the year, and when a quick rain shower or thunderstorm may bring some temporary relief from the heat.
This money is going to go a long way to helping folks in the community.
Jackson County legislators finally passed a 2025 budget, including extra money for local nonprofits. The funding they still haven't decided what to do with. After a powerhouse performance in Chicago, Royals rookie Jack Caglione makes his home debut tonight. We will look at the high expectations for his first game at the K.
KMBC 9 News on KCWE starts now.
It is 8:32 on your Tuesday. Good morning, Kansas City, and thanks for joining us on First News. I'm Jamie Weiss, First Alert meteorologist Nick Bender here with the forecast. Summer's here. I'm ready for pools to finally feel like summer's here instead of them being frigid the second you dip your toe in.
I mean, they take a little bit of time to heat up. They're kind of like a pot of water on the stove. You can turn that heat on, but it takes a while for that water to kind of warm up, and that's the exact same way that the atmosphere works and pools work. Unless, of course, you got a heater, and then, you can turn it in temperature that you want to. The next couple of days, a lot of the pool water is going to warm up with all the sunshine today, highs climbing into the mid and upper 80s. The humidity will remain comfortable. Dew point values in the 50s today. Tomorrow, the dew point values will reach near 70 degrees. And then it's going to start to feel very humid. Right now, it's 62. Still a bit of a haze here. That's smoke in the sky from wildfires in Canada. Many feet up, thousands of feet up. So not down near the ground, but it did make for a bit of a hazy sunrise. Looking at the Liberty Memorial, 62 degrees with a light south breeze, only 5 miles an hour. So not much wind if you're heading to Kauffman Stadium today. Dress, shorts, t-shirts. Temperatures in the mid to upper 80s on our 12-hour forecast with not much wind and a lot of sunshine. Over the next 24 hours or so, the humidity is going to begin to increase. High temperatures tomorrow. Maybe the first 90-degree day here in Kansas City. There will be 90s tomorrow. You can add about 5 degrees onto those temperatures to account for those higher dew points. So getting hotter and more humid. This is more classic June and July weather after a cool start to the month. There's a chance of isolated rain showers, a few thunderstorms at the end of the week. Let's go to News Shopper 9's Johnny Rollins.
All right, Nick, taking a look at your first alert traffic, 8:33, trying to sort out what's going on here northbound. I-35, a little bit north of Johnson Drive. It's going to be right near Antioch on the Kansas side. And you can see all sorts of stuff going on the shoulder. Reported to be a single stalled car. Well, I think there's a lot more than that going on. Looks like police are on the scene. Look at that pickup truck to the right. Looks like the hood of that is all jammed up, so they ran into the back of somebody. And a couple of tow trucks. In fact, it looks like that tow truck now backing up is going to pick up the pickup truck. Pick up the pickup. Anyway, one way or the other, you will find that there is a slight delay through here. Kind of sluggish all the way back to Shawnee Mission Parkway. Late enough in the rush hour. I just don't think this is going to be a major problem with now technically all lanes open. So we'll hope for the best and just a minor delay through here. Johnny Rollins, News Chopper 9. Back to you in the studio.
Thank you, Johnny. So you bring up delays. We are definitely seeing them around the metro right now. Still monitoring slowdowns along I-35 southbound from the merge into downtown Kansas City, as well as I-70 westbound from Nolan Road into downtown. The only route that is wide open right now is 435 westbound from the Triangle into Overland Park. Of course, if any more problem spots pop up on the roadways, we'll be sure to let you know. It's 8:35 and the Jackson County Legislature unanimously passed a 2025 budget 6 months late. It includes funding for nonprofit groups serving the poor and $3 million in new funding for affordable housing. Those charities will get $6 million more in funding than last year, but it's still not clear if they're going to get 6 or 12 months of funding, with some of that money possibly being given retroactively. The legislature still hasn't decided how to spend $70 million in COVID relief funding or $12 million in money earmarked to respond to the opioid crisis.
Well, right now, of course, everybody's happy. We can get moving forward. Now we can get to work on ARPA.
There's still money on the table we need to spend quickly. We have projects that are ready to go. They're shovel ready. We need to put those out there too, and that was something that couldn't get done.
Nonprofit groups could sign contracts with Jackson County by next week and get money as soon as the same month. Leaders say they expect County Executive Frank White to sign the budget soon. The county legislature will have to decide next year's budget in 6 months. Well, we just showed you Manny Abarca, the Jackson County legislator facing domestic battery charges in Johnson County, Kansas. He was in his seat for that budget meeting, but when it comes to that case, he pleaded not guilty. This comes after County Executive Frank White called on Abarca to recuse himself from the budget vote, writing in part, quote, "I remain deeply concerned about the implications for his role in county government, particularly his involvement in decisions that may directly interfere with institutions handling his legal matters." Abarca responded to that call on Monday.
I'm going to continue to do my job. I mean, there's a speculation that he suggested that I was retaliating in some way. I would welcome him to our chambers at any point to say that instead of writing it down an hour before. The reality is I have a job to do and I'm going to continue to do it.
Keep in mind, County Executive White was not at that budget meeting. He and Abarca have gone toe-to-toe on a number of issues, including White's handling of last year's stadium talks. Relief is coming to St. Louis nearly a month after a devastating tornado. Governor Mike Kehoe tweeted last night saying the president has approved Missouri's request for a major disaster declaration. That will allow the city to get federal assistance as it works to recover from that storm. At least 5 people were killed when an EF3 tornado tore through St. Louis on May 16th. The special session continues in Jeff City, and right now the House is considering a bill to help pay for stadium projects for the Chiefs and the Royals. House Speaker John Patterson, a Republican from Lee Summit, is hoping to pass the bill without any changes. This bill provides almost $2 billion in incentives for the teams. It also includes a 5% per year property tax cap for several counties, but keep in mind, Jackson and Clay counties are not on that list. Patterson says he will ask the governor to call another special session in September to address that.
I think if Jackson County citizens and Clay County citizens are going to be asked to, again, renew the tax or have a new tax to fund stadiums, I think it's only right that we tell them you're going to see property tax relief.
Democrats call that plan a non-starter. The stadium funding bill is expected to be heard in the House Economic Development Committee at 11 this morning. KMBC 9's Matt Evans is going to be there tracking the latest developments. You can watch for his reports later today on KMBC 9. Kansas City, you don't know Jack, but you're about to. Tonight, we're going to see the home field debut for Royals rookie Jack Caglione, last year's first-round draft pick. KMBC 9's Martin Augustine joins us live this morning at Kauffman Stadium. And Martin, Jack's first experience at the K comes against the New York Yankees.
I mean, what a collision of factors here with the big crowds that come to see the New York Yankees, and now the big crowd will be augmented by Jack Caglione, arguably the most anticipated call-up for the Royals in 15 years. Now he's had 6 games on the road, and he's making it home tonight after knocking out some butterflies on the road. No better game than Sunday, going 4 for 4 against the Chicago White Sox. Now his stat line only includes so far 1 RBI, and he's had a little bit of hard luck in his 5 games prior to Sunday. He had 9 of what the Major League Baseball statistic experts call hard hit balls, and in each case he was out. But a 4-hit day, man, that'll fix everything, and that will allow Jack to take a nice deep breath before his first home game in Kansas City.
I'm super excited to get to Kauffman. Got a bunch of family and friends coming, so I'm excited. I think it sounds weird, but I'm more excited for that than I was for the debut itself.
Yeah, let's talk about the Yankees for just a little bit. The last time we saw them at Kauffman Stadium, they clinched a playoff series win, a tough one to watch, with the Yanks ending last year's wonderful run by the Royals through the regular season and into the second round of the postseason. So now it's time to start something new with 3 games against the Bronx Bombers. After those 3 games, there'll be 3 games against the A's. And so Jack Caglione's going to have plenty of time to get acclimated to his new home here in Kansas City. Maybe even get that first home run. Reporting live, Martin Augustine, KBC 9 News.
Oh, Martin, our fingers are crossed. I would love to see a Jack Caglione home run in his home opener, and honestly, perfect weather for summer baseball.
Absolutely. Light breeze, lots of sunshine, warm. It's June. We're going to keep the humidity in check for today. Tomorrow, no promises. 62 degrees right now. This afternoon, sunny and warm, 85. And overnight, it's going to be warmer than last night. So look for those temperatures to hold a little more steadier overnight as the humidity begins to increase. The dew point values begin to increase for Wednesday. Wednesday is going to be a hot and humid day. The first hot and humid day, maybe of the summer season. We haven't had a 90-degree day yet this year. And I think we might reach that mark tomorrow afternoon. You can add about 5 degrees onto that 90 to account for increasing dew point temperature. So the higher the dew point, the more uncomfortable it feels, or the more humid it feels. Thursday, relatively cooler compared to Wednesday, a little bit more cloud cover, and there's a chance of a few showers and thunderstorms Thursday afternoon and Thursday evening. Jamie.
All right, appreciate the heads up. Thank you, Nick. Well, the 2026 Parade of Hearts is putting out a call for artists this week, and the design is brand new this year. KMBC 9's Rachel Ripp joins us live this morning with a special guest to tell us all about the project. Hey, Rachel.
Hey, good morning. Yes, super exciting story today. So they put out a call for artists yesterday around this time in the Kansas City area for the Parade of Hearts. They're looking for 150 local artists. Now I'm joined here with LaVon Colehour. She is the board chair of the Parade of Hearts. So LaVon, tell us, do you have a favorite story of one of these Parade of Hearts?
Oh, wow. That's like picking your favorite child. There's so many stories. Stay tuned for the documentary on Parade of Hearts. I would say one of my favorites is the story about Ruby Jeans. It was the first year, 2022, and Ruby Jeans at 29th and Troost had a heart in front of the juicery, and there was a lady who saved that heart for last. That's all I'm going to tell you right now. You'll have to pop in there to talk to Chris Good about that story, but that story is just amazing. It's one of the stories that would bring tears to your eyes. Just how great this community is and this region is, and just how loving everyone is. So like I said, I have so many amazing stories. I'm sure, those watching have stories about Parade of Hearts. So that's one of my favorites.
Yeah. Now, there's a new set of Parade of Hearts that are coming for 2026. What are you most excited about?
I'm just excited about the artists who will be on the global stage. Remember, artists, you are going to be on the global stage. This is the opportunity for the world to see your creativity, what our region is about.
Well, again, you were just hearing from Rachel Ripp about the brand new Parade of Hearts, their call for artists. You will be able to submit your design submissions until August 13th at 5 p.m. To find the application to submit that design, just visit paradeofhearts.com. Love to see the new design for next year. Well, Health Secretary RFK Jr. makes a big move, drawing a lot of criticism. He dismissed the CDC's entire vaccine panel. Next, the reason he gave for the change. Plus, we're getting answers about a Kansas City property causing frustration among neighbors. We'll share the promise from the owner about the future of this home.
Getting ready to head into a typical stretch of summer heat and humidity coming up. I'll show you when quick moving showers, possibly with thunderstorms, may offer up temporary relief from the heat and disrupt your outdoor plans.
Your station leading the way with First Alert Weather, Kansas City's largest, most experienced team, KMBC 9 News.
It is 8:46 on your Tuesday as we take a live look over Kansas City. That is the World War I Museum and Memorial, where a year from next Monday, we're going to see a lot of activity. That's where the World Cup Fan Fest is going to be a year from now. The big warm-up begins today with higher humidity to follow shortly after. Nick is getting us ready for the first 90-degree day of the year and when scattered thunderstorms could disrupt outdoor activities. Johnny Rollins, what's the latest on the morning drive?
Well, we're looking good right now, Jamie. Wrapping up in great shape. Nothing new to report as far as any major accidents. Big delays. 8:47 now. First alert traffic showing a wide open 435 coming out of the Triangle downhill and headed back up the hill here. The westbound run from the Triangle on over to Holmes, Warnell, and over to the Kansas side. So no issues here nor anywhere else around town right now. Johnny Rollins, News Chopper 9, back to you in the studio.
Thank you, Johnny. Well, Senate leaders are calling for an audit of air traffic safety after January's deadly mid-air collision in Washington, D.C. That crash involved a military helicopter and a passenger jet from Wichita, killing 67 people and raised questions about safety around Reagan National Airport. Bipartisan Senate committee leaders are asking the U.S. Department of Transportation and the Army for audits so there can be an independent review. Other than this crash, air traffic control issues have also caused safety concerns. Now to the stunning shakeup at the CDC. Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. removed all members of the CDC's Vaccine Advisory Committee. This move is being praised by
some as a
push
massive change by Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. removing all members of the CDC's Vaccine Advisory Committee, which makes recommendations on the safety and efficacy of vaccines. Members getting a notice saying this email serves as formal notice of your immediate termination. Kennedy releasing a statement saying, "Today we are prioritizing the restoration of public trust above any specific pro or anti-vaccine agenda." Kennedy argues a clean sweep is needed to restore public trust, claiming the committee had conflicts of interest, adding the Biden administration appointed all 17 current members, with 13 of them last year. But critics have called this change dangerous and partisan.
Remember, this is the same man that just told you at his Senate hearing he would never take vaccines away from anyone, and he's doing that. This is the same individual that said, "Don't take my advice, I'm not a medical doctor."
Do you think that there needs to be a change in the process on how this board is appointed?
You and I don't ask when our pilot is flying our plane, are you a Democrat or Republican? You ask, can you fly this plane safely? Do you have the experience and the expertise to do that? That's what this committee was all about. And it has served us very, very well over the years.
Lawmakers also reacting. Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer calling the move reckless, radical, and rooted in conspiracy, not science. Republican Senator Bill Cassidy, who is a physician, posting on X, "Of course, now the fear is that the ACIP will be filled up with people who know nothing about vaccines except suspicion," saying that he will continue to talk with Kennedy to ensure that's not the case. The Trump administration says the current appointments would have prevented choosing the majority of the committee until 2028. The committee's next meeting is slated for later this month. Replacements have not been named yet. Lionel Moyes, ABC News, New York.
We are getting answers about a problem property in South Kansas City that's been on our radar for years. It's a ranch house near Harrison and Holmes. It's become an eyesore for folks in the area. We first spoke to neighbors in 2022 when the yard of the house had become overgrown. City crews came out to cut it, but the yard started growing again after the property changed owners. Neighbors want answers.
It's really, really bad. 3 years ago, you got the yard cut, but I shouldn't have to do this. How could I sell my house with the house next door that looks like this?
Well, we tracked down the property owner in Parkville. He tells us the lender is trying to take the property back after he got sick and fell on hard times. He's promised to keep up with the yard from now on. A new Coca-Cola production facility will be opening its doors today. Heartland Coca-Cola is opening its new 700,000 square foot facility in Olathe later this morning. The company first announced its intent to build a new plant in 2022. The city approved hundreds of millions of dollars in bonds for Heartland Coca-Cola to build this plant. It replaces its previous facility in Lenexa, which was built in 1969. A Kansas City current global star is getting called up. Goalkeeper Lorena is going to play for her country of Brazil in an upcoming international friendly against France. It's the team's last game before the 2025 Women's Copa America. Lorena is used to playing for her home country. She played every minute during the 2024 Olympics when the team had won silver. Well, the Current are back at home on Saturday after 3 games away. They'll be playing Racing Louisville FC, hoping for their 5th consecutive win. It's also Pride Night. The game kicks off at 6:30, and Nick Bender, Casey Current are at the top of the table. We're going to have some good weather for the game too, right? Just hot.
I think so. Just kind of typical June weather, very warm, humid, a little bit of a breeze coming off of the river. And you're going to feel that heat slowly starting to build in a typical summer heat. But we haven't had typical summer heat. It feels like for a while. It's been kind of a cool, wet June, and we'll go back into May for that matter. But the rest of this week, the weekend and next week, it's going to look and feel a lot like June. Temperatures in the 80s and 90s in the afternoon. We haven't had a 90-degree day yet this year in Kansas City, and I think we get there tomorrow. At the end of this week, Thursday, Friday, isolated showers, 2 thunderstorms are possible. Not washout days or impact days, and there's no risk of severe weather either, but there's at least a chance of a few pop-up showers and storms Thursday afternoon and then Friday afternoon. Not this afternoon for the Royals game. Later this evening, our 12-hour forecast in Kansas City, lots of sunshine, hazy. There's smoke in the sky from Canadian wildfires. I don't think that's going to play too much with the air quality. It's way, way up high. I have a light south breeze, only about 5 miles per hour. So we look ahead on the First Alert 9-day forecast to tomorrow. 90 degrees, not only the warmest day out of the next 9 forecasts, but the warmest day of the year so far if we get there. It's going to be close. We're going to forecast 90 for Kansas City, 94 in Atchison, 92 in Lawrence, 90 in Odessa, Warrensburg, and Sedalia. And add about 5 degrees onto those temperatures. Now we're starting to play more with that heat index because the dew point values are going to increase. It's going to feel a lot more humid on Wednesday. Lower chances of a few showers and storms Thursday and Friday afternoon, and just a slim chance on Saturday. So I think a lot of your outdoor plans over the weekend are going to remain rain-free, but plan on it being very warm and humid. Great weekend for the pool. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday next week, high temperatures returning back to near 90, humid with rain and a few thunderstorm chances on Tuesday and Wednesday. So I think this is the real beginning of summer heat and humidity. I think once we step into this, with the off chance of maybe 1 or 2 cooler days, we're in the heat and humidity for the foreseeable future. And there will be a few days where a shower or thunderstorm is possible. Thursday and Friday, and then around Tuesday and Wednesday next week, there are low chances right now. And there are no impact or washout days or alert days, which would be severe weather days.
KMBC 9 Cares for Kids is helping build brighter futures across the metro by helping kids thrive with therapy. We are teaming up with Ability KC to help more kids get the medical rehabilitation they need. Ability KC offers everything from group sessions to music and aquatic therapy to other mental health support. Many of these types of therapy aren't covered by insurance. So KMBC 9 Cares for Kids is trying to raise money to cover 200 sessions for kids in need. Every session is $100, but any amount that you can give will help. So far, we've raised enough for 40 therapy sessions. Donate now and make a difference at kmbc.com/community. A huge hometown debut, an anticipated rematch, and dollar hot dogs. Kauffman Stadium is definitely the place to be tonight. That is when we will see the home field debut for Royals rookie Jack Caglione. He's arguably the most anticipated call-up for the Royals in 15 years. Sunday's game in Chicago against the White Sox was his best example of his game so far, going 4 for 4 at the plate. The Royals are playing the Yankees. A bit of a sore spot for them. The last time we saw the Yankees at Kauffman Stadium, they clinched a playoff series win and ended the Royals' postseason run. First pitch is at 6:40. Nick, I think that's going to be a very popular game tonight.
It's going to be sunny and it's going to be very warm as well. Temperatures will be in the 80s later today. Right now, 67 degrees with a light south breeze. Dew point value is 57, so it still feels comfortable, but the dew points will climb into the 60s near 70 tomorrow, and that will begin a very long, warm, humid stretch of weather. I mean, it's going to be warm this afternoon with that sun, 86 degrees and a light breeze. Tomorrow could be the first 90-degree day of the year so far in Kansas City, and you can add 5 onto that with those higher dew point values, heat index values in the mid-90s. Relatively cooler on Thursday and Friday, just slim chances of showers and thunderstorms here in the afternoon and the evening. No washout or impact days over the weekend. Looking ahead to next week, it stays toasty. Highs near 90 with a chance of showers and thunderstorms on Tuesday and Wednesday.